Commander Jack Phillips floated near the large observation window of the ISS Pathfinder, staring out at the endless sea of stars. 16 years as an astronaut, and the view still took his breath away. The space station, humanity's most advanced, outpost orbited Earth silently. It was a normal Tuesday in April 2057. Or at least it had been. "Commander, you need to see this." Jack turned to see his second-in-command, Linda Cooper, pointing at their radar display. Her face had gone pale. "What am I looking at, Lieutenant?" he asked, pushing himself across the module. "Something big just appeared at the edge of our detection range. It wasn't there 3 minutes ago. It's moving toward us." Jack studied the screen. The object was massive, at least 20 times larger than their station, and it was decelerating as it approached Earth orbit. "Natural objects don't slow down," he said quietly. "Call Houston. Now." Within hours, the news had spread across Earth. Humanity was not alone. The massive ship had positioned itself in geosynchronous orbit and sent a simple message in perfect English to every major communication center on the planet. "We come in peace. We are the Zirconians. We invite Earth to join the Galactic Council." 3 days later, Susan Howard stood before the United Nations Security Council. At 45, she had served as a diplomat in some of the world's most dangerous regions. But nothing had prepared her for becoming humanity's first ambassador to an alien civilization. "The Zirconians have invited a human representative to their ship," the Secretary General explained. "After careful consideration, we've chosen you, Ambassador Howard." Susan nodded calmly, though her heart raced. "I understand the responsibility, sir. When do I leave?" "Tomorrow. A shuttle will take you from Cape Canaveral." As Susan prepared for her mission, Lieutenant Commander Alan Murphy sat in a secured room beneath the Pentagon. As head of Earth's newly formed Space Defense Force, he watched footage of the alien ship with growing concern. "Play that section again," he told his analyst. The screen showed 3 smaller craft leaving the main Zirconian vessel. They weren't heading toward Earth, but outward, toward Mars and Jupiter. "What are they doing out there?" he wondered aloud. "If they came for diplomatic contact, why send ships to the outer planets?" "Sir, they claim they're just mapping our solar system," his analyst replied. Alan frowned. "Keep monitoring them. I want to know everything they do." The next day, Susan boarded the shuttle that would take her to the Zirconian ship. The journey was surprisingly short. The aliens had provided a docking procedure that made the complicated maneuver seem easy. When the airlock opened, Susan took a deep breath and stepped forward. She was greeted by a tall, blue-skinned humanoid with large, silvery eyes. Despite the alien features, she could read the expression as a smile. "Ambassador Howard, welcome aboard the Celestial Harmony. I am First Emissary Vexlor. We are pleased to make contact with your species." Susan was surprised by how easily she understood him. "Thank you for the invitation, Emissary. Humanity is eager to establish peaceful relations." "Of course. The Galactic Council has existed for over 10,000 of your years. We govern 27 spacefaring civilizations across this spiral arm of the galaxy. We've been observing Earth for some time and believe humans are ready to join our community." As Vexlor led Susan through the ship, she marveled at the advanced technology. Doors opened without visible controls. Gravity seemed to adjust automatically as they moved. Screens appeared in midair when needed and vanished when not. "Our council headquarters orbits a planet in the Proxima Centauri system," Vexlor explained. "We would like you to represent Earth there." "That's over 4 light-years away," Susan said. "How would I get there?" Vexlor's expression shifted, subtly. "We have technology that allows faster-than-light travel. We can share some of our advances with your people, but others must wait until your civilization matures further." Susan noted the condescension in his tone but kept her diplomatic smile. 3 weeks later, Susan found herself aboard a Zirconian transport ship heading to Proxima Centauri. Before leaving, she had attended dozens of briefings and helped coordinate the arrival of Zirconian cultural ambassadors to major cities on Earth. The alien ship traveled the 4 light-year distance in just 6 days. When they arrived at the council headquarters, Susan gasped. The station was enormous, a spinning wheel of silver and glass nearly the size of Earth's moon. Ships of various designs came and went from docking ports around its rim. Inside the council chamber, Susan was introduced to representatives of other species. Some looked almost human, while others were dramatically different, from floating gas-filled beings to reptilian humanoids and even crystalline entities that communicated through light pulses. It was one of these reptilian beings who approached Susan after the formal introductions. He was tall and covered in green scales with a ridge of purple spines down his back. "I am Krelthar of the Draconians," he said in a raspy voice. "Welcome to the council, human." "Thank you," Susan replied. "It's overwhelming to learn we're part of such a diverse galactic community." Krelthar tilted his head. "Indeed, though I must say your species has advanced remarkably quickly. It took my people 15,000 years to develop from simple tools to space travel. You did it in less than 5,000. "We're adaptable," Susan said. "Yes." Krelthar's voice lowered. "That is precisely what concerns some council members." Before Susan could ask what he meant, she was called to give her presentation on human history and culture. As she spoke about humanity's rapid technological advancement, particularly in the last 2 centuries, she noticed several council members exchanging troubled glances. When she mentioned how humans had overcome countless natural disasters, plagues, and world wars to emerge stronger each time, one crystalline being emitted a series of rapid light pulses that caused other representatives to shift uncomfortably. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Dr. Patricia Garcia examined the technological gifts the Zirconians had shared: clean energy generators, food production systems, medical devices that could cure most cancers. All impressive, but as the lead scientist for the military's alien technology assessment team, she noticed something odd. "None of this helps us. Get to them," she told Alan Murphy during their secure weekly meeting. "They've given us nothing that improves our propulsion systems, weapons, or defensive capabilities. It's all consumer-grade technology." Alan nodded. "And those ships I was tracking? They've established outposts on Mars, Europa, and Titan. They call them scientific research stations, but our deep space telescopes show they have defensive capabilities." Patricia pushed a tablet across the table. "There's something else. All their technology has embedded systems we can't access. I think they're monitoring usage patterns, maybe even collecting data on our research." As the meeting concluded, a message arrived from Susan via the quantum communication device Patricia's team had developed in secret. It was the first communication not using Zirconian channels. The message was brief. "Not all species welcomed equally. Council classifies civilizations by threat level, trying to learn our classification. Be careful what you share with our new friends." Alan read the message twice, then looked at Patricia. "I think it's time we started our own research stations. Off the books." In her new quarters on the council station, Susan stared out at the unfamiliar stars. First contact had finally happened, but instead of the joyful exchange of knowledge she had imagined, she felt growing unease. Were they truly being welcomed as equals, or was something else happening? As she turned from the window, her computer console chimed. It was a message from Krelthar. "There are records you should see. Ancient history the council doesn't share with new members. Meet me in the archives tomorrow." Susan felt a chill run down her spine. Humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning, but she couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into something far more complex and dangerous than they realized. 6 months had passed since the Zirconians arrived on Earth. Life had changed dramatically for humanity. The alien technology had transformed society. Hospitals used Zirconian medical devices to cure diseases that once killed millions. New energy generators powered cities without pollution. Food production systems ended hunger in previously struggling regions, but Colonel Ryan Davis didn't trust these gifts. As commander of the first human military base on Mars, disguised as a scientific outpost, he had been watching the Zirconians closely. The aliens had their own base on the other side of the Red Planet. They claimed it was for research, but Ryan's team had observed military-grade equipment being moved inside. Today, he sat in his private office, reviewing data from their new surveillance system. Noah Kim, Earth's most brilliant young engineer, had designed it specifically to monitor alien communications without being detected. The system had finally paid off. "Play it again," Ryan told his computer. A conversation between two Zirconians appeared on screen. Though they spoke in their own language, Earth's best linguists had created translation software that worked reasonably well. "The humans are advancing too quickly," the first Zirconian said. "They've already begun to examine our technology at a molecular level. The Council was right to classify them as a Class 5 potential threat species," the second replied. "No other civilization has adapted to new technology this rapidly." Ryan leaned forward. Class 5 potential threat species. This was the first confirmation of Earth's classification. He immediately encrypted the recording and sent it through their secure quantum channel to Ambassador Susan Howard on Proxima Centauri b. Susan received the message while preparing for another council meeting. 6 months of diplomatic work had earned her respect among some council members, but she still felt like an outsider. The Zirconians and older species treated humans with polite distance, careful about what information they shared. Her friendship with Krelthar had become her most valuable asset. The Draconian historian had shown her ancient records not available to new council members. Today, they met in a quiet corner of the vast council library. "Your message mentioned a Class 5 designation," Krelthar said, his scaled fingers moving over a control panel. "That confirms my suspicions." "What does it mean?" Susan asked. "The Council operates on a principle of predictable evolution. Species are expected to develop along established paths at standard rates." He pulled up historical data on a screen. Most Council species took 20,000 to 30,000 years to advance, from stone tools to space travel. Humans did it in less than 10,000, Susan said. "Exactly. And once you began advancing, your rate accelerated dramatically. From first flight to space travel took you less than 70 years. Most species require 300 to 500 years for that step." Krelthar lowered his voice. "The Council fears unpredictable species. They believe civilization should develop slowly, allowing time for cultural wisdom to catch up with technological power. And Class 5 designation? It means the Council believes humans pose a potential existential threat to galactic stability. They will never share their most advanced technology with you. They will limit your expansion and monitor your development closely." He hesitated. "In extreme cases, they implement containment protocols." "Containment?" Susan felt a chill. "You mean they would attack Earth?" "Only as a last resort. First, they create economic and technological dependencies. The gifts you've received? They make Earth reliant on Zirconian maintenance and upgrades. Back on Earth, Dr. Patricia Garcia made a breakthrough. For months, her team had been studying the alien technology, trying to understand how it worked, and more importantly, how to reproduce it without Zirconian assistance. She called Noah Kim, who had returned from Mars after setting up the surveillance system. They met in her underground lab protected from potential alien monitoring. "Look at this," she said, showing him a Zirconian medical device they had taken apart. "See these components? They're designed to transmit data back to the Zirconians." Noah examined the tiny circuits. "They're monitoring how we use their technology." "Yes, but that's not all." Patricia pointed to another part. "This is a remote shutdown mechanism. They can disable this technology whenever they want." Noah frowned. "All their gifts have these?" "Every single one. But I've found a way to bypass them." She showed him a modified version of the device. "I've replaced key components with our own. It works the same but doesn't report back and can't be remotely disabled." Noah smiled. "Have you tested the energy generators too?" "Yes. We can make our own versions now, independent from their control." While Patricia and Noah worked to free Earth from Zirconian technological dependence, Olivia Martinez prepared for a dangerous mission. As NASA's top pilot, she had been chosen to investigate strange energy readings from Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. The small stealth ship she commanded used technology Noah had developed by combining human innovation with what they'd learned from alien tech. It couldn't match Zirconian vessels for speed, but it was undetectable to their sensors. After a 2-week journey, Olivia positioned her ship in orbit around Europa. The readings came from beneath the moon's icy surface. Using deep scanning equipment, she located an artificial structure. "This isn't on any council maps," she reported back to Earth. "They never mentioned a base here." Using a specialized drilling vehicle, Olivia descended through the ice. What she found shocked her. A massive facility stretched beneath Europa's surface. It wasn't a research station, it was a military installation. Carefully avoiding security systems, Olivia managed to access a computer terminal. She downloaded files using translation software. What she found confirmed their worst fears. The facility was part of a program called Species Containment Protocol. Earth was listed as its next target. The files detailed plans to limit human expansion through engineered dependencies and, if necessary, targeted strikes against key military and research facilities. The Council feared humanity's rapid advancement and adaptability. They believed humans, if allowed to develop freely, would eventually dominate the galaxy. As Olivia prepared to leave with this critical intelligence, alarms sounded. She had been detected. Racing back to her ship, she barely escaped pursuing Zirconian vessels, using Jupiter's complex gravity field to shake them off before making the long journey home. On Proxima Centauri b, Susan attended an emergency council session. The topic was managing emerging civilizations, but she understood the real subject was Earth. The debate centered on increasing restrictions on human access to Council technology and limiting Earthships to the solar system. "Humanity has shown remarkable progress," Susan argued. "We've peacefully integrated your technology and followed all Council regulations." "That is precisely our concern," a crystalline being replied through its translator. "No species has integrated new technology so quickly. It suggests an aggressive adaptability that could become destabilizing." After the session, Krelthar pulled Susan aside. "They're accelerating containment plans," he whispered. "The Zirconians have detected human attempts to reverse engineer their technology. They see it as proof that humanity cannot be trusted." "What can we do?" Susan asked. "There are technologies even the Council fears to use. The progenitors, the species that formed the original Council, left behind artifacts of immense power. One such vault exists in your solar system, in the region you call the Kuiper Belt. If humans could access it before the Council..." Susan understood. Humanity needed leverage. On Earth, leaders from all nations gathered secretly to discuss the mounting evidence of the Council's true intentions. For the first time in human history, old enemies put aside their differences in the face of a common threat. "We need time," Dr. Garcia told them. "We're making progress with the technology, but if the Council decides to move against us now, we're not ready." Colonel Davis, connected via secure link from Mars, added, "We've been building defenses and ships in secret, but we need at least another year to stand a chance." The room fell silent as they considered their options. Finally, the Secretary General spoke. "Then we'll give you that year. We'll appear compliant while preparing in secret. For the first time, all nations of Earth must truly unite." He looked around the room. "Today, we formed the United Earth Defense Force. May it be enough to preserve our freedom when the Council finally shows its true face." 1 year had passed since first contact. On the surface, relations between Earth and the Galactic Council seemed peaceful. Zirconian cultural centers operated in major cities. Council medical technology saved lives daily. Trade agreements brought exotic materials to Earth and human art to alien worlds. But beneath this peaceful facade, both sides prepared for conflict. Susan Howard had risen to become a respected voice in the Council. Other representatives, particularly from younger species, sought her advice. The Zirconians watched this growing influence with concern. Susan used her position to build alliances, focusing on species who had also faced Council restrictions in their history. The Arcturians completed their first faster-than-light journey only 2 centuries ago, Krelthar explained as they walked through the council gardens. Before that, they were confined to their home system for 1,000 years by council regulations. Susan nodded, like Earth is now. Exactly, and the Tau Cetians developed along an unusual path, creating biological technology instead of mechanical. The council nearly classified them as a threat species before they proved their peaceful intentions. These younger species formed Susan's coalition. They met privately, sharing information about council restrictions and how they had overcome them. Susan was careful. She knew the Zirconians had spies everywhere. Back on Earth, Noah Kim led a team of engineers and scientists from around the world. They worked in a facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, safe from Zirconian monitoring. For months, they had been combining human innovation with reverse-engineered alien technology. "Try it now," Noah told his assistant as they tested their latest creation. A small spherical device floated above the testing platform. It glowed with soft blue light. Dr. Garcia observed from behind protective glass. "Is this the one?" "Yes," Noah replied. "Our first working FTL drive using principles the Council never explored. Instead of bending space like Zirconian engines, the human design created a quantum tunnel between 2 points. The Council relied on technology developed thousands of years ago and had stopped innovating. Humans took a completely different approach." "How fast is it?" Dr. Garcia asked. "Twice as fast as Council ships, and they can't detect it. Their sensors aren't designed to look for quantum tunneling. This wasn't their only breakthrough. Noah's team had also developed quantum communication devices that bypassed Council monitoring and adaptive shield technology that could analyze and respond to weapons fire in real time. On Mars, what had started as a small outpost had grown into a hidden military base. Colonel Davis, now General Davis, trained the first generation of Space Marines. Deep caverns housed a fleet of ships built with the new human-alien hybrid technology. Advanced holographic systems concealed these activities from Council observers. "Status. Report," Davis ordered during the daily briefing. His second-in-command, Major Frank Wilson, displayed a holographic map of the solar system. "We have 50 ships operational, another 20 nearing completion. Crews are trained and ready. We've established forward bases on several moons of Jupiter and Saturn, all hidden from Council detection." Davis nodded. "And the Council's movements? They've increased patrols near Jupiter, especially around Europa. They suspect we discovered their facility there." The tension escalated when Ambassador Vexilor proposed a new program during his meeting with Earth's leaders. "The Cultural Exchange Initiative will deepen understanding between our peoples," the Zirconian explained smoothly. "We suggest placing Zirconian advisors in every major human government and military installation." Dr. Garcia, now serving as Earth's science advisor, recognized this for what it was, an infiltration attempt. "We appreciate the offer, Ambassador. We need time to consider the logistics of such an extensive program." Vexilor's blue skin darkened slightly, a sign of irritation Susan had taught Earth's leaders to recognize. "The Council believes closer cooperation is essential at this stage of your development." "Of course," the Secretary General replied diplomatically. "We will prepare a response within 30 days." After the Zirconians left, Dr. Garcia activated counter-surveillance measures developed by Noah's team. Only then did the Earth leaders speak freely. "They're accelerating their timeline," she said. "This advisor program would place spies throughout our command structure." The Secretary General nodded grimly. "Stall them. We need more time." Meanwhile, in the distant Kuiper Belt, beyond Neptune, a small human ship approached a drifting asteroid. Following coordinates provided by Krelthar, Susan had traveled here in secret using one of Noah's new FTL drives. The ship's sensors detected unusual energy patterns within the asteroid. "This is it," she told her small crew. "The progenitor vault." Using specialized drilling equipment, they created an entrance. Inside, they found a vast chamber filled with technology, far beyond even the Council's understanding. Ancient databases contained the complete history of the galaxy, including records of the Council's systematic suppression of unpredictable species. Most valuable was a defensive system designed by the progenitors, a network of satellites that could generate a shield around an entire planet. Susan downloaded the technical specifications and sent them to Earth using their secure quantum communication. Back at the Council headquarters, Krelthar hurried to meet Susan upon her return. His normally composed demeanor was shaken. The Council is moving faster than expected, he whispered. The Zirconians have convinced several elder species that humans pose an imminent threat. They're preparing a motion to implement the containment protocol. Susan's heart raced. How soon? Days, perhaps a week. You must warn your people. On Earth, the Secretary General called an emergency meeting of world leaders. For the first time in human history, representatives from every nation gathered with a single purpose: survival. The Council will move against us soon, he told them. We've prepared as best we can, but are we ready to stand against the combined might of 27 spacefaring civilizations? Dr. Garcia and Noah displayed the data from the progenitor vault. With this technology, we can protect Earth, Noah explained. But deploying it will reveal that we've been developing technology in secret. It will be seen as proof that we are the threat they fear. General Davis joined via secure link from Mars. My forces can defend the solar system for a time, but not indefinitely. We need a diplomatic solution alongside military defense. The leaders debated through the night. By morning, they had reached a historic decision. For the first time, Earth would speak with one voice. They formed the United Earth Government, a temporary wartime council representing all humanity. Their first act was to recall Susan Howard from the council. Their second was to begin deploying the progenitor defense system in secret, hiding the satellites behind Earth's moon until needed. Susan boarded a ship back to Earth, carrying with her allies she had made among the younger council species. Representatives from the Arcturians, Taucedians, and 3 other races had agreed to observe the situation firsthand. If conflict came, their testimony about who struck first would be crucial. As her ship entered the solar system using conventional drives to avoid suspicion, Susan received a message from Krelthar. Council voted. Containment authorized. Zirconian. Fleet departing. May your species' adaptability save you. Susan looked out at the stars, thinking of how much had changed in just 1 year. Humanity had always faced challenges: disease, natural disasters, conflict. Each time they had adapted and emerged stronger. Now they faced their greatest test. Not just survival, but proving that humanity's unpredictable nature was an asset to the galaxy, not a threat. She sent a final message to Earth. They're coming. Be ready. The Zirconian fleet moved through space toward the Sol system. 50 massive warships, supported by smaller vessels from 4 other council races, traveled in perfect formation. Their mission had been authorized by the Council's highest authority: implement the species containment protocol on the planet designated Earth. Commander Zexavel stood on the bridge of the flagship, the Righteous Path. He had led containment operations before, but never against a species that had already made contact with the Council. This will be a simple operation, he told his officers. Their technology is centuries behind ours. We will disable their defense systems and industrial centers. The humans will have no choice but to accept our guidance. His second-in-command looked less certain. Intelligence reports suggest they've been developing technology rapidly since contact. Primitive copies of our gifts, nothing more. Zexval dismissed the concern. They've had only 2 years to study our technology. It took the Arcturians 50 years to reverse engineer even our simplest devices. On Earth, sensors detected the approaching fleet. In the United Earth Defense Command Center beneath Geneva, leaders gathered to coordinate humanity's response. They'll reach Jupiter's orbit in 12 hours, General Davis reported. Our Mars fleet is ready. Defense satellites are in position but remain hidden. The Secretary General nodded. And Ambassador Howard? Her ship will arrive 6 hours before the Zirconians. She brings representatives from 5 younger council species who oppose the containment action. Noah Kim entered, looking tired but determined. For weeks he had worked without rest, rushing to complete their defense systems. "The quantum shield generators are installed," he reported. "The network can protect Earth and our moon. Mars base has its own system." "And our ships?" asked Dr. Garcia. "All equipped with the new drives and weapon systems. They're outmatched in size and number, but our technology takes approaches the Council never considered. Their sensors won't detect our ships until they're close." The Secretary General looked around at humanity's best minds and leaders. 2 years ago, we didn't know we weren't alone in the universe. Now we face a coalition of advanced species who fear our potential. This is not just a fight for survival, but for our right to determine our own destiny. As Susan Howard's ship approached Earth, she briefed her alien guests. The representatives from the Arcturians, Tau Cetians, and 3 other younger council races listened intently. "The Council claims humans are developing weapons to threaten galactic peace," she explained. "In truth, we only began creating defensive technology when we discovered the Council's containment plans." The Arcturian, a tall being with gray skin and large multifaceted eyes, spoke. "The elder races treated us similarly when we joined the Sci Council. They fear species that develop differently than they did. Their fear has made them stop innovating," added the Tau Sadian, whose plant-like body swayed gently. "They've used the same technology for thousands of years, making only minor improvements." Susan nodded. "That's why they fear us. Humans adapt quickly. We take new ideas and transform them, finding applications their creators never imagined." As they approached Earth, sensor alerts sounded. "Zirconian fleet detected," reported the pilot. "They've accelerated. They'll reach the system in 4 hours, not 12. Susan rushed to contact Earth. "They're coming faster than expected. We need more time for the diplomatic mission to work." General Davis responded immediately. "We'll deploy the Mars fleet to slow them down. Get your witnesses to Earth safely." Near Jupiter, Olivia Martinez, now Admiral of Earth's First Fleet, received her orders. The 50 ships under her command left their hidden bases among the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Using the hybrid technology developed by NOAA's team, they moved through the solar system in ways Council sensors couldn't detect. Commander Zexval was shocked when his sensors suddenly showed human vessels appearing near his fleet. "Impossible," he muttered. "Their ships shouldn't be able to leave Earth orbit." More surprising was the technology he detected. These weren't simple copies of Council designs. The human ships used principles the Zirconians had never explored. "They're hailing us," his communications officer reported. Admiral Martinez's face appeared on screen. "Zirconian Fleet, this is the United Earth Defense Force. You are entering sovereign human territory without permission. Cease your approach and open diplomatic channels." Zexval laughed. "Your species has been classified as a threat. The Council has authorized containment. Surrender your ships and prepare for occupation." "We will defend ourselves," Martinez replied, calmly. "We have invited neutral Council observers to witness who fires first." This news disturbed Zexval. The containment operation had been planned with the assumption that humans were isolated and could be portrayed as aggressors afterward. Neutral witnesses complicated things. "Destroy their ships," he ordered. "We'll deal with the diplomatic consequences later." The battle in the outer solar system became the first test of humanity's new capabilities. Though outnumbered, the human ships demonstrated unprecedented adaptability. When Zirconian weapons hit their shields, the shields analyzed the energy pattern and adjusted to resist it better with each impact. Admiral Martinez employed tactics no Council race would consider, using Jupiter's complex gravity field to accelerate her smaller ships to speeds the larger Zirconian vessels couldn't match. Human vessels seemed to appear and disappear, striking from unexpected angles. Meanwhile, Susan reached Earth with her witnesses. They were rushed to the Defense Command Center just as the Zirconian fleet broke through the outer defenses. Despite the innovative human tactics, the Council forces' superior numbers pushed toward Earth. "They'll reach us in 30 minutes, General Davis reported grimly. "Activate the shield network." Around the world, hidden satellites emerged from concealment. Launched months earlier disguised as communication satellites, they now revealed their true purpose. Energy beams connected them, forming a web around the planet. A shimmering barrier appeared in the upper atmosphere. On the council capital, Krelthar and Susan's other allies staged their own operation. They presented evidence from the progenitor vault to the full council assembly, revealing centuries of manipulation and suppression of unpredictable species. The containment protocol violates the founding principles of the council, Krelthar argued. It was created not to protect peace, but to maintain the power of elder races. Several species, including the Arcturians and Taucedians, formally withdrew their support for the attack on Earth. Without consensus, the Council's authorization was thrown into question. Back in the Sol system, the Zirconian fleet approached Earth. Commander Zexaval was stunned to see the planetary shield. "That's progenitor technology," he said in disbelief. "How did they acquire it?" The combined political and military pressure forced him to order his fleet to halt their advance. But one ship, commanded by a zealous officer, broke formation and launched a planet-killer weapon toward Earth. The missile, designed to penetrate any known shield, accelerated toward the planet. Earth's defenses tracked it but couldn't stop it. In the command center, Noah realized what was happening. "That weapon will bypass our shield by shifting its phase at the moment of impact." "Can we stop it?" the Secretary General asked. "There's only one way." Noah rushed from the room. Minutes later, he boarded a small prototype ship equipped with the most advanced phase-shifting technology they had developed. "What are you doing?" Dr. Garcia demanded over the communication link. "The only thing that can stop a phase-shifting weapon is another phase shifter," Noah explained. "I need to intercept it and match its frequency precisely." As the planet-killer missile streaked toward Earth, Noah piloted his ship into its path. At the moment of impact, both the missile and Noah's ship disappeared in a flash of light. The QR weapon never reached Earth. The phase shift had sent both it and Noah into another dimension. The sacrifice of one brilliant engineer had saved the planet. The battle ended. The Zirconian fleet, faced with both military resistance and a political crisis at the Council, withdrew to neutral space. Humanity had survived its first interstellar conflict, though not without cost. As the Council representatives who had witnessed the battle prepared their official testimony, Susan Howard looked out at Earth from the command center window. "This isn't over," she said quietly. "It's just the beginning." 5 years had passed since the battle that came to be known as the Sol Defense. The galaxy had changed dramatically. The Galactic Council itself had been transformed. No longer was it controlled by the elder races who feared change. Now it functioned as a true democracy where all species had equal voice, regardless of their technological development or age. Susan Howard sat in her office in the new council headquarters. Large windows showed the spectacular view of Proxima Centauri B's ocean. As one of the 9 high counselors in the reformed council, she had a busy schedule. Today she would meet representatives from a newly discovered civilization in the Orion Arm. "They remind me of us 5 years ago," she told her assistant. "Curious, eager to join the galactic community, but cautious too." Her assistant nodded. "Will you tell them about the Sol Defense?" "Of course. All new species should understand our history. The old council made mistakes by hiding information. We won't repeat them." Across the galaxy, human ships patrolled trade routes that had once been plagued by pirates. Earth vessels had earned a reputation for creativity in solving problems. When conventional tactics failed, humans would find an unexpected approach. On T, a distant world called Vega Prime, General Ryan Davis watched as troops from a dozen species trained together. The United Galactic Defense Force he led was built on human principles of adaptive strategy and merit-based advancement rather than technological superiority. "In old footage I've seen of council forces, every species trained separately," said his Arcturian second-in-command. "They believed different biologies meant we couldn't work together effectively." Ryan nodded. "That was their fundamental mistake. They saw differences as weaknesses instead of strengths. A fighting force with diverse skills and perspectives will always outperform one that thinks the same way. The UGDF had proven this during the Rimward pirate crisis last year. When pirates had taken refuge in an asteroid field with unusual radiation that affected most species' sensors, human soldiers had worked with radiation-resistant draconian engineers to modify their equipment, then partnered with nimble Tau-Cetian pilots to navigate the field. The operation had succeeded where traditional Council forces would have failed. On Earth, Dr. Patricia Garcia walked through the gleaming halls of the Galactic Science Institute. Scientists from 20 species worked side by side, sharing knowledge, without the artificial limitations imposed by the old Council. The Institute had made more technological progress in 5 years than the galaxy had seen in the previous century. Director Garcia, the team from Rigel has arrived with their findings, her assistant reported. Patricia smiled. The project studying black hole dynamics had been controversial when first proposed. The old Council would have forbidden such research, as potentially destabilizing. Now it promised to revolutionize energy production across the galaxy. The Rigelians believe they've solved the quantum fluctuation problem, her assistant added. They credit the breakthrough to the mathematical models developed by your team last month. That's the beauty of true collaboration, Patricia replied. Each species builds on the insights of others. In a remote research station near the galactic core, Admiral Olivia Martinez studied sensor readings with growing concern. For months, her team had detected unusual patterns in the background radiation from beyond the galaxy's edge. Today, they had finally decoded the signal. It's definitely artificial, reported her chief science officer. The pattern repeats precisely every 27.3 hours. From outside our galaxy? Olivia asked. Yes, from the direction of Andromeda. The signal suggests massive energy usage far beyond anything we've seen. I believe we're detecting the preparations for an intergalactic journey. Olivia frowned. Send this to the Council immediately. Flag it as potential first contact with an extragalactic civilization. Later, reviewing historical records, they discovered that the old Council had detected similar signals a century ago, but had classified the information. They had been monitoring a potential extragalactic threat, but hiding it from member species. The phase-shifted dimension where Noah Kim had intercepted the planet killer, time moved differently. What had been 5 years for the galaxy had been only months for him. His ship, damaged but functional, had drifted in this strange realm of swirling energy patterns and altered physics. Noah had spent his time studying this dimension, learning its rules. He discovered he could perceive reality in ways impossible in normal space. Energy, matter, time itself, all appeared as patterns he could observe and eventually influence. On a Tuesday morning in Geneva, scientists at the Dimensional Research Center detected an unusual energy signature. A swirling portal opened in their main laboratory. From it emerged Noah Kim, changed but recognizable. "Welcome back," said the lead scientist who had been expecting this moment. Noah's calculations, left behind before his sacrifice, had predicted his possible return. Noah smiled. "I have so much to share." His experiences in the phase-shifted dimension had given him insights into the fundamental nature of reality that opened entirely new technological frontiers. Within days, Noah met with the Earth Council. His discoveries would transform human understanding of physics and lead to technologies beyond anything the galaxy had seen. Most importantly, he brought warning of what he had sensed while in the other dimension. The same extragalactic presence Olivia's team had detected. 2 weeks later, representatives from all Council species gathered for an emergency session. Susan Howard presided as Senior High Counselor. "We face a potential first contact situation with beings from beyond our galaxy," she announced. "Unlike the old Council, we will face this openly together." Krelthar, now serving as Galactic Historian, provided context. Historical records suggest the progenitors themselves may have fled from these extragalactic beings. This may explain why they created technologies like the planetary shield that protected Earth. The Council chamber buzzed with concerned voices. Many feared what this new contact might bring. Susan raised her hand for silence. 5 years ago, the old Council feared humanity because we were different. They couldn't predict our actions or control our development. That fear nearly led to conflict that would have weakened all of us. She looked around the chamber. Let us not repeat their mistake. This new civilization may be different from anything we've known, but diversity brings strength. Our united galaxy, with all our different perspectives and approaches, is better, prepared to face this challenge than we would be separately. The gathering ended with a historic decision. A first contact mission would be prepared, led jointly by Susan Howard and Noah Kim. Ships from all council species would participate, with humans providing many of the key technologies and strategies. As Noah worked with engineers to prepare the expedition ships, he reflected on how much had changed. The very traits that had made humans feared, their adaptability, creativity, and unpredictable nature, now made them essential to the galaxy's future. The old council worried that humans would dominate through force, he told Susan during a planning session. They never considered that we might lead through innovation and cooperation instead. Susan smiled. When the Galactic Council and alien races united, humanity became their greatest threat. Not to their existence, but to their outdated ways of thinking. As preparations for the intergalactic expedition continued, Earth celebrated Unity Day, marking 5 years since the Sol Defense. Once bitter enemies now worked together. Species that had never met before first contact now lived and worked side by side. The galaxy had been transformed not through conquest, but through cooperation and the uniquely human ability to unite diverse groups toward a common goal. The future remained uncertain, with new challenges on the horizon. But one thing was clear. Humanity had found its place among the stars not by conquering, but by bringing people together.